Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be cooking once again from Lazarus Lynch's Son of a Southern Chef, and we're going to be making green deviled eggs and ham. Deviled eggs are a standard here in the South. Have them every holiday at least. All the potlucks have deviled eggs. These are interesting because they'll be a little bit healthier because he's going to use avocado to make the filling. So that's more of a healthy fat than most commercially prepared mayonnaise. So that's pretty cool. My kids love avocado. I think they're gonna like it. They usually love deviled eggs. Usually I boil my eggs a particular way. Although for deviled eggs, you definitely want to make sure you have the yolk completely done. But we're going to do it his way today. And I'm not going to show you that, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So I have a pot, a saucepan that I can put all my eggs in, and they will be covered by the water. We're going to bring this to a boil first. Then we're going to add the eggs using a slotted spoon. Don't drop them in. You don't want them to break. And then we're going to boil it for 13 minutes. And then we're going to shut off the heat, put the cover on, and leave it for 3 minutes after that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. While that is going, I'm going to prep the rest of my ingredients. I've got some parsley here that you could use, flat leaf parsley. He says any sort of fresh herb leaves. He suggests dill or chives. You could go with basil. It would be a very prominent flavor. Dill and chives, I'm sure, would be great. Anything that you like would be fine, but it just depends sort of what flavor profile you want to go with it. These are all relatively mild. Some lemon juice, my avocado. We have some Dijon mustard and some hot sauce. And I will have to get out the ham portion when we're done with all of this. So I'm gonna bring this to a boil and prep my ingredients. And you might see it, you might not, but we'll let you know what happens. Show you what we do next after the eggs are all done. Okay, this boiled for 13 minutes and then sat with the lid on and no heat for 3 minutes. I'm going to drain the hot water, and then while it's empty, I'm going to kind of shake them around a little bit to get the eggs cracked a little bit. That's what I do. He doesn't suggest doing that, but that's what I do. And then we're going to fill it up with cold water to let these cool. And while that happens, I'm going to finish making all this other stuff into a filling, but let me get that started. So my eggs are cooling in cold water in the sink, and I'm gonna get the rest of the filling. He says to use a mini food processor. Mine comes with this little bowl that goes inside the big bowl and a little chopper, so that's what I'm going to use here. And first, I've got an avocado. We're gonna hope it is ripe, and well, it is ripe. I hope it's not brown. Good tip for these is if you get them ripe to the correct stage of ripeness, not too ripe, on the counter, you can put them in the refrigerator and they'll last much longer. That's perfectly fine for me. A few little brown spots, but nothing bad. And then just gonna scoop this out into the food processor. And now, this is how I take out the pit. I don't know if I've shown you guys this before, maybe. Comes out pretty easily that way. You just have to be kind of careful not to hurt yourself with the knife. Scoop out the other half. There we go. Sometimes there's a little bit of a brown spot around where the stem is. I like to scoop that out. Just, you probably wouldn't notice it honestly in the final product, but you know, it makes me feel better. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my herbs. So I just have flat leaf parsley. I chopped it up a little bit. He doesn't say you have to, but I did. I just think it'll give it a head start because we're gonna try to whir this all up here. There we go. The rest I can use for a little bit of garnish, but we have a couple other things we're gonna use for garnish here. I need some fresh lemon juice, so I squeezed half a lemon in here, and that should be plenty. There we go. Let's see. Oh, some Dijon mustard. This is what I happen to have, is some stone ground Dijon mustard. Should be fine. Got it all over me. He says a splash of your favorite hot sauce. This isn't my favorite. I actually really prefer Frank's, but this is what we had in that we're trying to use up. So I'm just going to put, that was quite a bit more than I intended. Oh well. A little bit of salt and pepper, which I have over here. So he says to lightly season with salt and pepper, and I think he says to put salt and pepper in here, and then he says to lightly season with salt and pepper after this. I think we probably just should check my seasoning when this is all done. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, my eggs, little tiny bit warm, otherwise perfectly fine. So that doesn't take very long in cold water. And you can see that I've got a few little cracks here. I think that helps them, cracking them up before I put the cold water on, helps them to peel a little bit better. And also the tip that he uses to boil the water first and then put the eggs in, that is supposed to help as well. I've not had much problem with that since I've started that method, so that's good. I think that helps. So I'm gonna peel my eggs here. They seem to be peeling very well, thankfully. This is one of those times when you want your eggs to look pretty, so hopefully they will. When my eggs are all done, I'll show you what we do next. Okay, my eggs have all been successfully peeled. I'm very happy with them. And I'm going to slice them in half lengthwise. They're nicely cooked for these types of eggs. And I'm just going to, got a plate here with a paper towel just to keep them from moving around. I'm going to put all of the yolks in to my filling mixture and try not to break my whites. That one was very nicely split. So hopefully they will all be like that, but that is all the filling mixture. And so I'm just going to process this until it is completely smooth, and then we'll taste it for salt. Okay. Well, it's not completely smooth, and our herbs are not getting super chopped up, so I'm glad that I chopped them. Let me go ahead and taste this for salt level just to see. I need a little salt, a little bit, and they're not too spicy. All right. I think that's the best we're gonna do for smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into a plastic zip top bag. I'll take this out of here. Move that away. I'm gonna get a plastic zip top bag and just put all of this in there. Ours is not nearly as green as his. I think if my herbs had gotten chopped up a little bit better, it would have been a bit greener, but it will be fine. I was really expecting it to be much greener because of the avocado, but that's okay. All right. Now this part is all ready, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean up just a little bit, as always. So he says to snip off about a 1/2 inch strip of the corner to make an opening, and then we're just gonna basically pipe these in here. If you really want, you can use a pretty piping tip and make it as pretty as you want, but this is fine for us. I'm not trying to impress anybody with this. I just want it to taste good. That is good for me. Now we have to deal with the ham portion of the green deviled eggs and ham. So, oddly enough, we had a hard time finding the country ham because we went to a more fancy grocery store this time, but we managed to find some at the deli counter. Generally, country ham is cured and you can eat it raw. Well, raw, but it's cured to a point where you don't have to cook it, but we usually do cook it. This does not call to be cooked. It just says 2 thin slices, just a small amount of country ham chopped, and that is for, and country ham is usually much redder than this. I'm gonna move this. Yeah, country ham is usually sort of a darker red in my experience, but this is a new kind for me. It's also usually very salty. This tastes like country ham, so that's good. All right, I'm just going to chop this up and use it as garnish. He looks like he just has pieces, like thin slices in the pictures, but a lot of the pictures in here are beautiful, but not necessarily exactly the way that he tells you to do things, so that's all right. Now, he also suggests that you chop up some pickled jalapeños. I thought I had some that we had pickled, like quick pickled sort of. They were pretty old and had started to get moldy, so plus only my husband was going to eat them. I may have some jarred ones. I'm not sure, but so this is one of the reasons why I think you want to go a little bit light on the salt, because country ham is generally pretty salty. So I did not overdo the salt, even though avocados, in my opinion, like salt. Tastes better with some salt. I'm also going to just put the rest of my parsley on top, and there we go. There are your green deviled eggs and ham. We're gonna let you know just how they taste in just a minute. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make green deviled eggs and ham from Lazarus Lynch's Son of a Southern Chef cookbook. And I was going to let you know what we thought about them. Honestly, they all disappeared very quickly. The whole family liked them. They are very lightly flavored. They're not, there's nothing overpowering in the filling. You do taste the avocado, so if you don't like avocados, this is probably not the deviled egg recipe for you, but my family loves them, so that was great. Like I said, it's very sort of lightly flavored in general. I think the country ham that we got was not as salty as the usual country ham that we get around here, because we had to get it from another place. That's all they had, whatever. You can use whatever ham you like, but a saltier ham would go very well, be an extra flavor on these eggs. I think that would have gone a little bit better. And we would not eat the pickled jalapenos. Well, 3 of the 4 of us would not eat pickled jalapenos, so I didn't make sure I had those as a topping. But if you like spicy things, I'm sure those would be great and would add an extra element of flavor to it. But it's a great healthier recipe for deviled eggs instead of the mayo that may be full of a different kind of fat that's not as healthy. You can use the Hass avocados, which are very healthy fats. So yeah, I think it's a method. I'll probably use avocados in deviled eggs again and maybe just spice it up a little bit differently. And oh yeah, and we use parsley. So that was probably also another reason why it was not quite as, it wasn't highly spiced or highly flavorful. I mean, it tasted like avocado, mostly avocado and egg, which is what it mostly was. If you used dill or chives, there'd be a little bit of that in there. So I probably will try it again with a different herb mixture, either all of one or a couple of different ones and see. But yeah, we enjoyed it. It was great. It worked really well. And if you try it, let me know. And if you enjoyed watching me cook, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and come back and watch me make something else.